second graders. You caught me in a workout. We're going to be going over a math lesson today on some strong numbers and some weak numbers and rounding and estimating. Now this is a little bit more difficult because you're going to have to just listen to my voice to learn this math lesson. I'm sure you could do it though. We're going to start by reviewing place value. You remember place value. For example, if you have the number 42, which number is in the ones place? You got it. It's the 2. Which number is in the tens place? That's right, the 4. Now, if we make it a little more difficult, we could add another place value, but it's sure not going to change anything because the 2 is in the ones place, the 4 is in the tens place, and the 3 is in the hundreds place. Today we're going to be focusing on the number that's in the tens place. This one. That's what you're going to have to know when we do our rounding. When you round a number, the worksheet will say something like, round to the nearest 10. When they say round to the nearest 10, that means we're dealing with the digit that's in the tens place. You got it, it's that one. Now the next thing you have to look at is the number that's in the ones place, the 2. Up here you can see I wrote the strong numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the weak numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look at this number, is the 2 a weak number or a strong number? Oh, it's a weak number. So what you do when it's a weak number is you're going to leave the digit in the tens place just the way it is, but you're going to change this to a 0. So 42 would round to 40 if it was rounding to the nearest 10. Now let's say you didn't have a 2 there, and let's say you had a strong number, 47. There you can see we're rounding to the nearest tens, so this is our target number, and this is the number we're going to be using to do the rounding. Now, is 7 a weak number or a strong number? It's a strong number. The way I remember it is 5 or more, let it score. So what you're going to do is, because it's a strong number, you're going to let this number score. We're going to go up 1. So that becomes a 5, and then we change this to the 0. So if you have the number 47, your number would round to 50 if it was rounding to the nearest 10. Let's try a couple more. Okay, we're rounding to the nearest 10, so the digit we're going to look at will be this one. That's the target number. Now we're going to look at this. Is 1 a weak number or a strong number? 5 or more, let it score. Well, 1 is not 5 or more, so we're going to just change this 1 to a 0. 41 would round to 40. Now let's take a look at this one. Let's look at the digit in the ones place. It's a 5. 5 or more, let it score. Woohoo! We're going to get a score on here. We're going to change this to a 5, and we're going to change this to a 0. You notice when you're rounding by tens, we're counting by tens. That's how simple this is. Now let's take a look at one of the problems on your worksheet. It says round to the nearest 10 on number 3. The number you get is 37. All right, I'm rounding to the nearest 10, so I know my target number is the 3. And 7, is that a weak number or a strong number? 5 or more, let it score. That's a strong number. So we would write 40, 40. 37 rounds to 40 because 7 was a strong number and we let the 3 score. Let's try another one on your worksheet. 41. If we're rounding to the nearest tens, this is our target number, and we're going to take a look at this one now. A 1. Is that weak or is that strong? It's a weak number. It's not 5 or more, so we know we're going to change that to a 0, and our 4 is not going to score. See how simple that is, rounding numbers? Now we're going to go up to problem number 2, where it says estimate the sums. On this problem, you're going to be rounding each number and then adding them together. So the first problem has 13 plus 79. We're going to need to round each of these numbers down below. When I look at the 13 and I'm rounding to the nearest tens, I know that the 1 is our target number and the 7 will be a target number. Now let's look at the other digit in the ones place. We have a 3. Is a 3 a weak number or a strong number? It's not 5 or more. It's weak. We won't let it score. So we're going to keep that 1 a 1 and we're going to change that 3 to a 0. Now look at 79. We're going to go ahead and look at that 9. Is that 5 or more, let it score? Yes, it is. Let's let the 7 score and change that digit to a 0. Now you're on the bottom part right here. This is just a simple adding problem that you'll have no trouble with. 0 plus 0 is 0, and 1 plus 8 is 9. Now you got the correct answer. Let's try one more, and then I'll let you complete the last one by yourself. The next one is 32 plus 42. We're going to need to round these numbers again. Let's take a look at the target number, because we're rounding to tens. 2 is a weak number, so the 3 is not going to score. 2 is a weak number, so the 4 will not score. On the bottom, you do your simple addition, 30 plus 40, which we know is 70. You got it. We're going to get more into rounding later in math after spring break, but for now, that's a good start. One thing that I want you to realize is that why would we ever round a number? Because you're not getting the exact amount. Well, I can tell you why. If you're at the supermarket and you want to buy some things with your money, or if you're at a toy store, it's much easier for you to calculate and add even numbers like 20 plus 30 than adding 29 plus 34. So sometimes you can round to figure out exactly how much money you might need to bring with you to the market or the toy store even. Another way that you'd use it if you were baking, maybe you were going to make cookies for a class or 2 classes. If you had one class that had 26 in it and another class that had 21 in it, instead of adding those 2 numbers, you could just know that 26 adds to 30 and 21 goes to 20. So now you know exactly how many cookies you should make to cover it. 50. Well, thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a great spring break.